Hey you guys, thank you for joining us on FAQ Friday.
That's right.
We have a very cool topic that Adele and I are going to discuss. This is actually going to be all revolved around a service that she actually provides. Actually, we all provide here at Ride Financial, but she's kind of spearheading it and is really helping us get a better grasp of the power of what we do. And the name of this episode is going to be called Found Money.
Right.
Now that's a powerful term, right? Because if you think about found money, how many of us are ever just walking to our cars from we're leaving Walmart, we're walking to our car and we see $5 on the floor. How excited do we get? I'm like, woo, we pick that up before somebody else does, right? Well, what if we can show you how to do that every single month? We just met with the client, one of our agents met with this client, and he and Adele both were working together, and found their client $711 a month extra that now that client is putting into their employer-sponsored retirement program. So I'm not going to go into any much further. I'm not the expert on this, but what I'm going to do is pass it over to the person that is.
Yeah. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. So it's tax season, right? So this is important to make those adjustments, and it's important to look at what you show as income and understanding what is available to you and make those options. Tweak the numbers now so that throughout the next portion of the year, the next 10 months, that you're making those contributions for yourself. So let's just get started. So found money, right? So 401ks were actually established in 1978. So a lot of times people don't understand how they even came about, what the whole purpose was. So it's part of the Revenue Act. 403Bs were actually established a lot sooner in 1958, and they were actually only annuities. And then in 1974, they changed them to where now you can invest in mutual funds and stocks and bonds, so they tweaked them a little bit. So again, you have a 401k, a 403B, 457, they're all brothers and sisters, right? And so they have a little bit of intricate details as far as the dynamic of how they work. But essentially, they are a deferred way to save money. It's a pre-tax contribution that you can participate with your employer, whether you're a state employer, a public school employee, you're a private sector, you work for a private company that your employer offers these sponsored plans. And so really the big thing of it is finding money. And so what I wanted to show you, it may be a little bit hard to see on the screen, but I wanted to really kind of emphasize how we were able to sit down with a few people and show them the potential of utilizing their employer-sponsored account and redirecting the taxes for their future in a retirement account. So let's go to it. So here, this illustration kind of shows two. So the first column shows a gentleman that is married, has children, has dependents, but because he's so tired of paying taxes, he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have Uncle Sam tax me as much as he can now, and then I don't wanna have to worry about it. At least I'll pay a little bit less in at the end of the year. Go ahead.
So, I'm sorry, honey. So quick question for yourselves. How many of you are married with kids and this is your situation? Your tax person is having you let Uncle Sam completely annihilate your paycheck just so you don't have to pay taxes at the end of the year. This is where it really starts to get interesting.
Exactly. That's why they created these accounts, so that you can lower that income tax. So what happens is you as an employee do not pay the federal income tax on the amount that you contribute, that you defer into your 401k tax. So it lowers that taxable income. A lot of times we want Uncle Sam to tax us, and so we don't understand the rules, and that's why they created these accounts, so you can utilize them for retirement. Pensions have gone away, so it's up to you to start saving in your employer-sponsored account. So this first column shows single and one. He's making $6,523 a month, right? But he's filing single and zero, and he's taking everything out of his paycheck. So he's actually taxed at 30.8% at that single and one. Now, if we just implemented his married into the way he actually lives, we just tweak it and now redirect 500 of it into an employee-sponsored account. Now it lowers his taxable contribution. So now his tax savings is $362, but his take home is $12 difference. But now he's saving $500 in retirement. Most often, people don't save for retirement. And that's the biggest thing, is making sure that you're taking advantage of it, right? So if you, obviously there's a lot of different things to look at too, right? So let me show you another illustration. This was a gentleman that we also helped that saved $711. That's how much money we were able to find for him, because he was filing single and zero. So again, he was being taxed at 32.23%. And now when redirecting that $711, he's now paying 16.5% on his marginal tax bracket. So that money is redirected. And the biggest thing I wanted to emphasize was the pie chart, right? So the taxes is still the same. You're just deferring it for later. Uncle Sam is still gonna collect his at the end in retirement. So it's not that you're gonna be paying that this year, you're just deferring the income tax portion later down the road. You're still gonna be eligible to have to pay for Social Security and Medicare. It's still the 7.65%. That doesn't change. It just lowers your taxable income so that you can redirect some money into your retirement account and allow you to still live a good paycheck. You're not rocking the boat completely at home, but you're actually saving for retirement, and that's the biggest thing. There's so many people, we meet so many people that are in their 50s, 60s that barely have 100,000, maybe 50,000, and they want to retire. With what? Right? So that's why they started these programs in the 70s to help facilitate that.
Yeah, so if you think about it like this, right? You have to pay Uncle Sam, and there's no getting around that. It's part of what we do, right? What Adela is really emphasizing is you're either going to pay Uncle Sam and let him take as much taxes as he wants to take, or you can change your dependents, have you have a bigger amount that's pre-tax, and instead of paying all that money to Uncle Sam, we're teaching you how to put that money into your 401k account or whatever it is, your retirement account that your employer offers. This way, you're paying yourself first. Right. You're getting the compound interest on your account. You're saving more for retirement, for your future. Yes, you're gonna have to pay taxes on this in the future, but at least the money's in your control, it's in your hands, and if something happens to you, it's there if you need it, as opposed to just saying, all right, Uncle Sam, I'm gonna let you take as much as you want to take just so I don't have to pay taxes. Right. Well, let's keep you in the same boat as far as not having to pay taxes, but let's just now put it in the hands of yourselves in your retirement account as opposed to just letting Uncle Sam take what he's gonna take.
Yeah, and another thing, a lot of your employers may match you. So that's another incentive for you, is that for every dollar you put in, they're gonna match you up to a certain percentage. The only caveat to that is what I wanted to show you is the vesting schedule. So every employer-sponsored program, such as a 401k, has a vesting schedule. So it's kind of an incentive for you as the employee to contribute, but at the same time, the employer is incentivizing you, saying, hey, if you put in 3%, we're gonna match you 3%. If you put in 4%, we're gonna match you. So every company is different. I highly recommend that you look into your employer and what they offer you and take advantage of the free money, because it is free money. The only thing is if you're going to be jumping from employer to employer to employer, you're not going to partake in all of that. They're only going to give you what you contributed. So vesting means it's an ownership, right? Each employee will vest a certain percentage of the account in the plan each year. So this schedule shows, for example, you have 1 year, the vesting is 0 and the graded is 0. Let's just say year 4, you're vested 100%. But the graded is 60%. So if you terminate employment at year 4, you're only gonna get about 60% of what you and the employer has contributed. You're not gonna get the full 100% because you weren't there the full time of the vesting schedule. Now, after that schedule, for this one example, is 6 years. After 6 years, you get 100% of what has been contributed from the employer on your behalf. So everything that you match, everything that they match, you'll get 100% after that vesting schedule is 100% vested. So a lot of important things to kind of consider before starting a 401k or 403b. It is a retirement plan. It is not a liquid emergency fund. Oftentimes we run into people that want to buy a new car, they want to put in a pool, they will need a new roof, and they dip into their retirement accounts. This is not what this is. 401k, 403b, 457, it's a retirement account. So you want to use it as such and think of it as such. And so you want to make sure you have an emergency fund set aside, because again, this retirement account is not an emergency fund. Second, do you have adequate insurance, from health insurance, personal casualty, life insurance? Because when any of those things take effect in your household, the first thing you look at, where can I get money? Where can I get my hands on money? And that's where you want to stay away from having that availability to take money out of your 401k. The other thing is that if you have a lot of debt, pay down your debt. Start little on your 401k, pay down the debt so you don't feel enticed to start dipping into your 401k and being penalized to meet those needs. So make sure you get that paid down first and foremost. And then really just kind of emphasizing that there's different accounts, 403b, 457, 401k, depending on your employer. Go to HR, find out what's available to you. If you do not have an employer that participates or offers a retirement plan, then you yourself can start up an IRA. It's an individual retirement account that you can contribute up to $6,000 every year for retirement. So there's a lot of benefits out there, and really it's tax season. You're gonna meet with your tax person soon. You're gonna start filing, and you're gonna see, do I break even? Do I, have to pay Uncle Sam? And that's what we wanna avoid, is paying Uncle Sam, break even, but you're also saving for retirement.
Yeah, and just a couple of points to hit on that she actually hit on a really good point that I didn't even think about till she said it. But one is you can still contribute, you can still open up an IRA account or some kind of a tax deferred account that you can contribute for last year.
Right.
So you can still do that. There's still plenty of time as long as you do it before you file.
Right.
And on top of that, I didn't even think about this. This was like mind blowing. Like, wow. So now think about this. We're going to help you find extra money in your paycheck that is not going to affect your take home, or if it is, it's going to be very little effect on your take home. You're going to put that money now into your retirement account, right? And then your employer is going to match. That's a double bonus if you ask me. I didn't even think about the match. So the fact that Adela said, yeah, you're going to save more money. So now if your employer matches you, I don't know, let's say up to 6% and you're putting in 3%, but because we adjusted your stuff and help you find money, now you're up to the 6%. Now you're putting more money in and you're taking full advantage of the match. To me, that's a double win. So man, good point. I didn't think about that.
Lots of money, it's out there. That's why these accounts were created, so that you can benefit for saving for retirement. Because if you don't do anything and you get to retirement, you're gonna miss out, and it's harder looking back, wishing you good, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So take advantage of these accounts. They're there. You still have to pay taxes on them when you retire. So know that it's not tax-free. It's just a tax advantage, allowing you to defer taxes for the future, but you're saving for retirement.
So here's a call to action, right? Obviously, every person that is looking at this and hasn't been looking at this and is going to watch this in the future, this probably can help you. I'm like 99.9% sure. Here's a call to action. Comment below. Comment below and just say, hey, I'd like more information. Or direct message us and say, hey, I'd like more information. And what we're going to do is show you the next steps as far as getting together and going through your paycheck analysis to see how much money we can find you. So that's the call to action. Comment below, say, hey, I'd love more information on this. Boom. And that's the first step.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you got a lot of information, and feel free to reach out. We're here to help.
See you guys next week.
Bye.